Hey everyone, so I'm back again with another video. This time around I have some 6th gen video game pickups to show you guys. First off, I wanted to say, usually the lights makes my skin look kind of red, but I am actually sunburned and it was pretty bad. Like, even my arms are kind of burned. Even my cheeks a little bit, but whatever. It was my fault for not wearing sunscreen. So the first two games I wanted to show you guys are two PS2 games I just picked up today at the Value Village. I got a couple other things at the Value Village as well, but nothing else really game related, um, other than one PS1 game, but it was nothing special. The two PS2 games that I got, the first one I actually saw was Super Bust a Move 2, and this one was missing the manual, and the case is kind of busted, but at least the disc was in there, because every so often when I see a case this damaged, the game is usually missing. And then the next game I saw after that really interested me, that uh, I actually really wanted to get this game. I've been looking for it for a while, but the price has never been right. And I got it for $2.99 at the Value Village today. It's Capcom vs. SNK 2 Mark of the Millennium. And yep, it's the PS2 version of, well, is a sequel to the Dreamcast game, and I was just really happy to be able to get that. I'm pretty sure the first Capcom vs. SNK was also on the PS1, but I have the Dreamcast version, and I prefer that version. But yeah, I didn't have any of the Capcom vs. SNK 2 games, because there's a couple of different ones. I believe there's some variant for the GameCube as well. I don't have any of them, not even for the original Xbox. So to find this one here, I was really happy to get that and add it to my collection. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you guys is actually a Kijiji deal that I got from this one person relatively far away. I don't know, when you don't drive, even short distances can seem pretty far. This guy was probably only like 15 kilometers away from me, but when you don't drive and it starts raining, it seems pretty far. So the Kijiji ad that I saw was for a GameCube with 4 controllers. The guy wanted $40 for that, and honestly, I wasn't interested at all. But I messaged the guy asking him if he had any GameCube games at all for sale. And he listed off a couple, nothing interesting at all, just sports games. And then he tells me that he has one game, but it's just a disc. And this started a really long email thread that was only resolved significantly later. It turns out that the one game that he had was this game here. It's Zelda Collector's Edition, and I got that for $10. And it's actually in pretty decent condition. It does have a few scratches because it was, after all, disc only, but it's still in pretty good condition, considering this guy really didn't take good care of any of his stuff. Now, when I went to get this, I asked him if he had anything else at all. I tried jogging his memory, but he didn't quite um, catch on as easily as I was sort of just throwing stuff out at him, and he really didn't sort of absorb any of it. He did say, though, that he had an AV cable for Nintendo, and I'm like, okay, which one? What is it? And he's like, oh, I think it's for the Super Nintendo or maybe the N64. And I'm like, thinking to myself, it's the exact same cable. Basically, he had one of these Nintendo AV cables, the ones for the Super Nintendo, N64, or GameCube, and he tossed that in for free with the game. So I was sort of happy to get that. I know that I could trade that into a store, to a local store for at least a couple bucks, so that's a plus for me. But then I had to ask if he had anything else at all, and he said that he had a couple of PS2 games, but it was just Guitar Hero and something else. I can't remember them right now, but I asked him again, "Do you have anything else at all?" And then I started naming handheld systems. So I said Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, anything. I really wasn't looking for any Game Gear or anything else really, and I didn't expect this guy to have anything strange. I thought that he might at least have some Game Boy stuff lying around, and it turned out that he did have a Game Boy Advance SP, and he brought it out with a couple of games. Uh, the other two games, it was three games altogether. The other two games that I did not purchase were The Incredibles and some licensed, like another licensed game. I believe it was Rugrats, but I didn't care for that either. What I ended up getting, and it was a complete risk because I couldn't get these things to work right when I got them. It's a Cobalt Blue Game Boy Advance SP in not that great condition. It powers up, but it's got no sound, and I already tried everything I could think of, and I think just the speaker is blown out on it. It had the charger as well, and then the third game that he had that I ended up buying is Kirby the Amazing Mirror, and I was hoping that I could get this thing to work, and eventually it did work. I just figured out that you had to have it a little bit angled for it to read properly, but at least it works fine now. And even if I can't get the SP to fully function, because, like, I mean, this thing was really dirty, and I think the pins in there might even be crooked, so it's not reading any games that I put into this thing. I can at least get back some money for these two here. In total, I paid $20 for the Game Boy Advance SP with the charger, the Kirby game, the Nintendo AV cable, and the Zelda game. I paid $20 for all of that, and I knew that at least for the $20 that I spent, I knew that I'd be able to get some money back on these two if I wasn't able to get this working. So I think that was a half decent deal. Even though it sucks that I got this disc only, it was the last Zelda game that I needed for my GameCube collection. Other than um, the Wind Waker combo pack with Metroid Prime, I believe. Uh, I'm not gonna end up getting that anytime soon because it's insanely rare and expensive to get. So this is all I got right now. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Also, check out my 300 subscribers contest. Check out my 300 subscribers contest video, I should say. Enter if you'd like. That's all really. Facebook, Twitter, website, they're all linked in the description below. And that's it. See ya.